Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Show. We're going to talk about some issues that can possibly come about when you buy a house this morning. So that's why you always need to seek professional help. Please understand that we are the Real Estate Show and we're here for informational purposes only. And we still want you to do your own due diligence, but we're going to talk about some things that we've come across on the internet. And I'm here with my good friend Kay. Good morning, Kay. How are you?
I'm doing great. I just want to say that this podcast is not sponsored by Whataburger. Okay.
It's not, but I've got my cup of Java here. So I just want to sort of say to everybody that this month is National Epilepsy Month?
It is.
It is, and I'm an epileptic, so please keep us in mind. Keep us eppies out there. But anyway, on with the show as it goes. We're going to talk about an article that we came across about the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation and what they'd done. They condemned a house because of a landslide. And I'm going to talk about, if she'd hired a professional, would it have happened? Would it have not happened? Possibly yes and possibly no. So let's roll the video and then we'll discuss it a little bit after that.
Exclusive, she bought land from PennDOT for $15,000, thought it was a great deal, and built a house, only to find out PennDOT had purchased the land from the previous owner because of a landslide. Our chief investigator, Rick Earl, has been digging into this for the past couple of months now, and he joins us in the studio. Rick, how could this have happened?
Yeah, David, tonight that's the big question, but PennDOT won't answer our questions. So we tracked down the previous owner who says PennDOT told him no one would ever build on that land again.
But they did tell me that land will never be sold, or the old property. It'll never be built upon. It's condemned.
PennDOT told you that?
Yes, absolutely.
After repeated issues with the hillside sliding behind his home on Connie Drive in Ross Township, just below Perrysville Avenue, Robert Joswiak says PennDOT agreed to purchase his house and the land in 1992. Joswiak says PennDOT evaluated the hillside, took core samples, and offered a couple solutions.
We can put a wall up, but we can't guarantee the wall will hold. And one of them came personally to me on the side and says, you know what, with everything considered, I think it's best that we just take the house. You can go buy another house.
So PennDOT agreed to buy the house from you?
Yeah.
Joswiak says they paid him fair market value for the home, and he bought a house in Beaver County. He never heard anything more about his former home until now.
I was driving around looking for houses, seeing if there were any houses for sale by owner, and a friend of mine said to me, oh, look, there's a nice piece of property.
14 years after Joswiak sold it to PennDOT, PennDOT turned around and sold the property to Donna Schwartzbauer. Her builder discovered the foundation of Joswiak's home. What was your reaction?
I was stunned, and I said, well, what? And he explained to me.
You had no idea there was a house.
No idea. No idea.
And
so
they just demolished it and buried it.
Buried the house, planted grass over it.
Schwartzbauer had a contractor remove the old house, and she wasn't concerned until she began having repeated flooding in her basement. Then this past spring, she noticed something even more troubling. The hillside behind her home began moving toward her house. It took down part of a fence. I mean, this is what, 10 feet away maybe?
Not even 10 feet. It's probably 5 feet. And every time we get a big rate, it's going to get closer and closer to my home. Insurance won't touch it.
And Schwartzbauer maintains PennDOT never told her about Joswiak's troubles. And nobody ever told you about these problems?
No.
The state didn't tell you about these problems?
No.
You had no idea about any of these issues?
I would never buy a house. I would never think of building. I would never buy a piece of land, even to put a putt-putt course on there.
And 11 Investigates also discovered a deed that indicated PennDOT planned to condemn the property when they purchased it from Joswiak in 1992. Did you know it was condemned?
No.
Did the state tell you it was condemned?
The state never disclosed it.
You had no idea this property had been condemned when you bought it?
No, I would have never bought it.
Schwartzbauer, who has spent more than $30,000 on sump pumps, French drains, and landscaping the hillside, filed a claim against PennDOT, but they denied it. We reached out to PennDOT as well, but citing potential litigation, they declined comment. Schwartzbauer says she can't sell the home with the land sliding, and it would cost too much for her to fix it. She just wants PennDOT to make it right.
I don't want to lose my home. I want the state to rectify the issue and fix the damage. And then
It seems
it.
simple, right?
That's
Yeah.
it. They can build
They
highways.
sold you a problem. They need to fix the problem. That's what
Exactly.
you think, right?
They sold it without disclosing it to me. My house is unsellable.
I'm not asking them to build me a mansion. I just make me whole here and fix it so that, you know, it doesn't happen again.
Well, the bottom line here is the woman needs help. She's suffered a grave injustice that should have never occurred, to no fault of her own. And somebody's got to be held responsible. That's why you're here today.
Now, we also tracked down former PennDOT District Engineer Henry Nuttbrown, who confirmed to me that PennDOT purchased the property in the early 90s because of that landslide. He retired and doesn't know why it was ever sold again. Donna Schwartzbauer considered filing a lawsuit, but says the attorney fees were just too high. We did reach out to state lawmakers who said there wasn't much they can do. I did speak with Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis the other day, and he is now looking into this to try to find a solution. Live in the studio this evening, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
Okay, let's talk about a few things there. The first thing is at least PennDOT are trying to find a solution for the lady.
They're not.
Well, it did. They said it said at the end of it they're trying to find a solution to the problem.
No, he said he talked to the guy. He talked to someone that used to work for PennDOT.
Yeah, but at the very end of that
They're
video,
trying to?
he said there wasn't going to pend on it, but pending litigation.
Oh, okay.
But they was going to try and see if they could get a solution. But also, what I want to point out to people is, obviously PennDOT, in my opinion, are liable because they sold something that they originally knew. Well, they didn't know, but it was overlooked for whatever reason it was. That, you know, it was just a bad situation if they built another house on it. Whether it was an administrative mistake or whether it was, I don't know, that they was overworked or whatever. But this is what I'm going to tell everybody. When you buy for sale by owner, and if you get yourself a good realtor, what we normally do is we go to a title company and we get them to open up a chain of title. On that chain of title, the deed that they shown on that report would have come up on the deed. And if it was owned by PennDOT on there, because you've seen on the deed that it said that basically the property had been condemned. So I don't know what the procedure is in Pennsylvania, but normally if there's a title company, they will go through the chain of title to see what issues, you know, there has been. But I will tell you that if a good real estate agent was involved in this transaction, the chances of it happening wouldn't have been so much, because hopefully they would have done a bit more homework on the property. And to be perfectly honest, do you not think it's a bit silly for a builder to go build a property on, even if they've removed the old foundation?
I did. You know what her house looks like, though? I think what she did was she bought the land, right? And obviously it looks like she put a mobile home on top of it. It looks like the home that's on it currently.
And if there were any houses for sale by owner, and if
It looks like a a manufactured home. It looks like they just, like, she had somebody drop off a manufactured home.
Okay.
Like,
Until she began.
it doesn't.
Because let me tell you what I find very strange about this. Why would you just want, if you know that earth's coming in behind you, why would you, I'd want a full resolution for the property, because she's got equity in, you know, she should have equity in the property.
Mhm.
She can't sell the house.
Yeah. So I think that's what she. I think that's what
So
she said.
what's she going to do with it in the future? Just pass it on to her family, and they can't do anything with it?
I think that's what she's hoping for. She said that during the actual, when she was talking to the reporter, I think what she's hoping for is that they get someone to come and pave all of the landslide, because the land is sliding onto her property. So I think she wants someone to pave it. That's why she was like, well, they can build highways, yada yada yada. So they should be able to come fix, this part of my home. So that's what I'm thinking that she wants them to do, is just to level out the land that's around her.
But it's not going to solve the problem.
You didn't think so?
No. Because if you've got a hill and you've got all that pressure, especially if it rains, it's just going to come down and flatten the house.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I think she wants. I think she wants them to come and level out that hill. She wants them to completely get rid of the hill.
It doesn't say the size of the hill. It doesn't say.
But
they'd have to do a topography.
Oh yeah, they're going to have to get. It's going to take them months.
Topography to come down to see how steep that hill is.
Exactly. To get it around, but I think that's what she's hoping for. But yeah, they should not have sold it to her. I think that you're right with her needing a professional to come and do it rather than purchasing it directly, because one of the big things is that, it's a nice house. The first thing I would be suspicious of is, why is this only $15,000? She bought it for $15,000. That would be my first question.
That's a very good point. You pay for what you get.
Yeah.
But the other part that, to me, isn't, there's a lot of people that make this mistake. They buy a for sale by owner. They don't use a professional, and there's stages in the buying process that are missed.
Right.
It's like when you buy a house, the previous owner.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. A deal that I'm going through at the moment. The buyer bought the house for sale by owner, and we have found out, I told you the other day about it, and we're about to put it on the market, and we just found out there's 2 federal liens on it.
Oh, yeah.
Where where federal income taxes haven't been paid. The couple are now divorced, but the husband has a federal lien on that property. There's a bank loan on the property, which, we now found out about, but we didn't know about that until we'd done the chain of title to see what liens, and that's what the title company do. They check the whole length.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's
another example of it. If they'd done that chain of title and done the title search, it would know what type of deeds, because also there was a mechanics lien on the property that I was spoken about. There's federal liens.
Oh my gosh.
There was an additional bank loan on the property that she'd done. It was a home improvement loan with no improvements. It was
just a bunch of mess on that.
It is, and that's why people say you go out there and make yourself $1 million being a real estate agent. Yes, you can do, but very few do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being an influencer on YouTube or whatever you want. The percentage of people that actually make their millions of dollars is very few. But I always say to everybody, find something that you enjoy, find something that you have a passion about, and that's the first step.
Mm-hmm. Because if you do it just to make money, you're going to be stressed out in your first 2 years.
Yeah, when I did the Olympics, I had a passion for ice skating, and I didn't mean to go out there and do Olympics, but I just had a passion for it and continued it. Anyway, but I feel very unfortunate for the lady. I hope she finds resolution with. At the end of the day, it's going to be down to PennDOT what they do.
Yeah, and I do feel really bad because, if she obviously was, she didn't have the best in finances, because she did purchase a property for $15,000, and now she can't even afford to sue PennDOT for their own oversight because she can't afford the legal fees. So that sucks, having to do that. So hopefully they can find.
Well, perhaps she can get. a sympathetic attorney to take it on for her.
Yeah, pro bono, or
Yeah.
or hopefully, this story being brought to light, maybe she can get some people to help her out at least that way, just with some money.
But it's, I feel for her.
Yeah.
I do think she should have got a professional on a number of levels. I think she should have got a real estate agent, to be perfectly, I think would have helped to purchase the property.
Mm-hmm.
Even if she would have gone to a title company and paid for a title search, a title search at the most is going to cost you $1,000
Yeah.
before she purchased the property.
Mm-hmm.
And in all fairness, it makes me wonder, because when she purchased the property from PennDOT, all right, they would have given her a deed, you understand, or the title company should have done some sort of research. Now, when you take title insurance, if there's a problem with the property, then the title insurance pays for the mistake. You understand? So that's the part I can't understand.
Yeah.
So unless she just decided to buy it from, from PennDOT, as is, where is, I don't think she did her research.
Yeah,
she should have done her research.
I don't think she did either. I think she just saw a good deal and she's like, I got to get this for $15,000, But
jump on it before anybody else does. Well, you
exactly.
jumped on a landslide.
But yeah, so
So
now we've got more kind of funny business in the real estate realm. We've got some unfinished business. Multiple homeowners claim that a North Carolina builder took bank draws, cash, and left their homes unfinished. So we've got some photos for you and just a quick little article.
So do you want to run the article, or do you want me to explain how draws work?
So we'll talk about the article. So let's see. A woman, this is just, a family that for the past 3 years were packed into a relative's home waiting for their home to be finished. It says they have a house. It looks abandoned. They paid a builder in 2021, but it took her builder months to break ground on the site after they closed on the lot in 2021. So it took 6 months for them to get foundation framing and a roof built, according to Flores. And after $189,000 in bank draws from their construction to perm loan, Flores said the work stopped after $189,000, and it became a permanent mortgage after the construction completion deadline passed. So although the house was never finished, the Flores families are made to pay the mortgage payments on the $189,000 loan for the past 3 years. So that's what's going on right now. That's the overview.
All right. Let me explain to everybody how a construction loan works. A construction loan is normally over, let's say, 12 months. And what happens is, say you've got a construction loan, in this case for $189,000, and what they do, they agree on draws a particular, depending on the lender, they agree on particular things called draws, not the things or trousers that you wear, or your pants, as you say in America. But these draws are financial draws that you pull out from the total amount. For example, in this case, they did a financial draw for the foundation. I think they did a financial draw for the structure of the property, for the framing, and they did another draw for the roof. Now, I don't quite understand whether I think this contractor was hired by the homeowner.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Right. So basically, then what happens is the bank, as soon as they take the draws, will convert it into a permanent loan. And that's what's happened in this situation. Unfortunately, what happens, and this isn't the only case, but what happens is you take a risk when you use unscrupulous builders like this. And I don't know about the financier in this place, but you've also got an unlicensed general contractor, which to me is a red flag anyway. But basically, you've got to be very, very careful when you get involved in this scenario, because if the house isn't finished, you're going to be stuck. And that's exactly what's happened here.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get around this? What you should be doing is here's the difficult part. You obviously want to get the house fixed. What some builders, and they tried to do this with me in the past, they said, well, we need the money to buy. We need the money to go buy supplies to finish the house. And I'll be honest with you, I turned around and told them no. The agreement was, you buy the supplies, I'll pay you for the labour, because that's what it does when you complete the foundation, and then I'll go sign off on the money, because that's basically how a construction loan should work on the draw. That paid on completion. And what I can't understand about this a little bit is, normally, I think there's got to be something that smells a little bit like cheese, as we say in England, with the finance person or the finance company, because normally the finance company will send out an inspector to make sure that the work has been done. So in this case, Kay, the foundation was done.
Yeah. Yes.
The framing was done and the roof was done, correct?
Yes, and so if we look at the photo, this photo right here is of their house. So this is also, that's only, that was the beginning, the introduction to the article. There's still more to it though. So this is what their house looks like. So you can see that all the framing's done, but nothing else is there. Like there's no insulation, obviously nothing else has been done on this property. So now if, continuing reading what else is going on. So in September 2023, the Floreses and 3 other families were hit with a lawsuit from Robinson Builders Mart, a builder supply company in North Carolina. The lawsuit named the families and their properties as defendants, claiming the contractor, identified as Parenthesal Mohanan in the lien lawsuit, purchased $132,463 in building materials from the supply company and never paid the bill. The Flores' building permit shows Blackman's firm as the contractor at the time of the final invoice in July 2023. And so they were removed and replaced, but it says the filing also contains a document titled Personal Guarantee with Mohanan's signature and an email address for Distinctive Homes and Development Group. And so at Robinson Builders Mart, Mohanan promised full and prompt payment of all indebtedness. So they're just stealing money. They're stealing money.
And there's something else as well. There was a real estate agent involved in this who was the builder's wife who sold the land.
Yeah, right here, yeah. So Joy Cotto was the listing agent for her husband's land sale and home construction contact.
And if that was never disclosed as the National Association of Realtors ethics, then herself and possibly EXP could be liable for any losses to the client.
Yeah. And it also says that Another family purchased the lot and hired Mario Cotto's Lion Real Estate Group in September 2023 to build a $429,000 home. Foundation was already on the lot, and LaBelle said she wired Cotto $158,000 in August 2023. But after closing on the lot, LaBelle said Mario seemingly disappeared and nothing had been done. So she kept driving to the lot on weekends and nothing's going on. Nothing's happening. I'm finding this strange, and I'm driving out there and I'm never seeing any type of work being done on any of the houses. And that was a red flag. Why am I not? I see all these half-built houses. Why do I never see the tradesmen? So she said to her real estate agent that something strange is going on here, and she's calling Mario. So yeah. And by this time, the bank had dispersed $168,000 in additional construction loan draws to Cotto, according to LaBelle. And in between that time, when I realized that something was terribly wrong, she called her loan officer and she emailed a disbursement agent. So these are the pictures of what the lot looks like.
Let me tell you one thing that I think you can always do with these builders. Make sure that they're licensed, bonded and insured, because if they're insured, you've got a better chance of making a claim.
Mm-hmm. So you can see this lot, it looks like it's 2 lots. These 3 home sites off Grace Court show the stages of incomplete homes. So yeah, this is a scam. So it says our research shows that the Cottos are involved in 22 properties in 2 subdivisions in Lincoln County. One is located off Furnace Road and the other is Churchill. So the rest remain unfinished today. So they have a few properties where they're just not doing the work, so yeah.
Building companies like this should be struck off the record.
They should. And they should not be allowed to make any other building companies. Because that's what the problem is. All they're going to do is shut down their LLC and knock that out, and then they're just going to build another company under a different name.
Let me give you another instance. I mean, we recently made an offer on a multi-family property for one of my clients. And the offer was around $1 million. It was turned down by the bank because it didn't meet their criteria. For what the rents on the property, it was an 8-unit building, no, 9-unit building. For what the rents were gaining in there, it really was just short of $1 million. Well, what happened was, they decided, the company that owned it, that they was going to try to go bankrupt, which is hard for me to accept, because then you've got the vendors, all your plumbers, electricians, and the people who've done the work to do on the house, they don't get paid. They get paid pennies on the dollar. That's what happens, within bankruptcy. Anyway, the judge didn't allow the bankruptcy. And then the property came back on the market. And then when we viewed the property, because we was going to make an offer on the property again, the water boilers were taken out, the electric was ripped out the walls, the air conditioners were taken off.
Oh my gosh.
It was a complete mess. I mean, it was just, and to be perfectly honest, it wouldn't surprise me if it was some of the vendors, because there was a vendor's lien on the property. But I mean, how would you feel if you was a vendor, you with me?
Right. And
a builder or developer, whatever you want to call, hadn't paid you, you'd find some way to get back at him. And that's the thing that Donald Trump did when he was building a lot of his casinos. He put a lot of people out of business. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of builders and developers that do this. If they can't get it so it cashes out, they know the system and they go into bankruptcy.
Exactly.
And what do? They just open up under another name. I personally don't think that should be allowed.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Like, they need to be barred from creating new companies, being able to create new companies, because all they do is they're able to cancel their LLC.
Well,
It's like with criminals, right? When you go to jail, when you have a felony, you are not allowed to purchase a gun. You're not allowed to purchase a gun legally, obviously. So they should not be allowed to legally create new companies as builders. That should be it.
they are bringing out, actually, saying that. Let me just bring something up a minute, hold on. They are bringing out it's called FinCEN,
Mm-hmm.
and what it is you have to register yourself. You have to register yourself if you're involved with any corporation, and so that in itself, it's being contested at the moment by the department. There's somebody that's taken it to the Department of Justice and seeing it's I really can't understand the legal side of it, but I think it's a step in the right direction, because that would stop people opening other companies
Yep.
that have defaulted on other things. For example, I'm involved with a lot of homeowners associations. These homeowners associations, what they've got to do now, they have to register all their board members to make sure that they're not fraudsters, that they're not got, criminal activity and everything else. So I think it's a really good thing, to have this. It's called FinCEN,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to see what FinCEN stands for. It's put together by the United States Department of the Treasury, and is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. And basically what it means is, if you have, even yourself, if you do business as an sole proprietor, you still got to do this. If you do your business as an LLC, or you do your business as however entity you have to file yourself under the entity. I know it's a lot of bureaucracy, but I do think it would stop a lot of financial crimes, money laundering and such like.
Yeah, we gotta something has to give to where they're not able to continuously just move on to like a new business. Hopefully there will be some type of crackdown on that.
Right.
But yeah, that's all we had for you guys today. Just a couple of quick real estate scams. Just do your due diligence. Speak to a real estate agent, talk to a professional, and a lot more goes into purchasing a house or purchasing land to build a house than just being able to say, oh, I like this house, let me get my mortgage loan together, and then being able to live in it within a month. You have to make sure you do what you need to do.
Make a comment on that. Here's the problem: when people are purchasing a house or they're purchasing land, it's an emotional experience. They get attached to the house, or they get attached to a lot of land. Or I'll give you an example. I've got 3 old English sheepdogs. Have a guess what emotionally I want to do in my retirement? Have a large lot of land and see my dogs run around that yard and be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very emotional it really is. It's a very emotional event, but you know, whenever you see a lot of land, I would not suggest that anybody does for sale by owner. If somebody's selling a property for sale by owner, they're obviously looking, I'll be honest with you, you know, although I'm going to be criticised to say what I'm going to say, to save money, but at the same time, you know, they should disclose a lot of information. As real estate agents, part of our job is to show honesty, discretion, and integrity to our clients, and basically, you know, we'll get all the information that we can. A good agent is not going to, they'll put your interests first. You know, that's why I keep the clients that I have, is because I put their interest first. It's, you know, I'll be honest with you, I never ever put my commission first. I generally want them to get what they want, especially, I work with a lot of investors. One investor I have is actually an accountant, and to be perfectly honest, you know, she puts her numbers together. Her numbers have to be at a particular point, and if they're not, then we don't go ahead with the deal. But she's not an emotional person at all, and that's why we work so well. There's a lot of deals that we walked away from, and you've got to be prepared. Unfortunately, every deal isn't for you, every client is not for you. But anyway, I hope every client was for me, because I'd be pretty wealthy then. But until next week, we want to say thanks for joining the Texas Real Estate Show. Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, give us a thumbs up. We'd love to hear from you. Please comment in the chat. So until we see you next week, you know, we'd love to see you. As I said, please like, subscribe, turn notifications, thumbs up. Ta-ra for now.